how Databricks and OpenAI have partnered and what we see about the future of AI agents. Next, I want to turn you to a fireside chat between Ali Ghodsi, our CEO and co-founder, and Sam Altman, CEO and co-founder of OpenAI. We're very excited to have with us a discussion between our CEO, Ali Ghodsi, and the Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI. So thank you very much both for being here.
Thank you. Yeah, excited.
Yeah. Well, let's get started, and I hope we can have a fun, kind of thoughtful discussion. Databricks and OpenAI, we recently announced kind of first-in-a-kind partnership to make the OpenAI models natively available within Databricks and Agentbricks. So maybe actually starting with Ali first, what's the importance of partnering with OpenAI on this endeavor?
Yeah, I mean, every one of our enterprise customers want to use OpenAI. They all want to have the models available. They want to use them on their enterprise data. They're getting just those two things working together is non-trivial because it's like the data is sensitive. They want to have their privacy. They want to have auditing. They want to have GDPR rights. But they want to they want to use the models to build agents to get insights. So it's really customer demand that has been overwhelming.
Yeah, we're thrilled to do this. Enterprise is becoming one of our biggest focuses. We've had 7x enterprise growth this year, and we really think that we're heading into the phase of AI where the models are getting so good that enterprises will need to use them, want to use them, bring them into their whole ecosystem, and we cannot imagine a better partner than Databricks to make that happen. So we're thrilled. We're also very happy to be a Databricks customer.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. As you said, the partnership not only is, of course, Databricks bring OpenAI models to all of our enterprise customers, but also for some time now, OpenAI has been using Databricks for data analytics. So maybe starting with Ali, a little bit, how has that partnership and that work been going?
It's awesome working. I mean, extremely technical teams that push us to our boundaries and demand more and more of us. And it's nice that the two companies are so close geographically, so it's just easy to walk over and iterate on the product. It's one of our most demanding customers in a very good way. It made us just way better as a company.
Maybe moving separately a little bit, Sam, you and OpenAI have really revolutionized AI for consumers. How do you think on this new chapter, as you mentioned about going to enterprise, how Databricks and OpenAI together, can revolutionize AI for enterprise as well?
We always planned to do enterprise also, but the models started with a lot of problems. They started fairly weak. It was easier to get consumers to adopt them. They're coming to the point in their maturity where we are clearly seeing together huge enterprise demand and the need to figure out how to bring this technology to enterprises in a way that they can use it with all their data, with all their constraints, with all of the concerns they have about security and safety, but also to sort of quickly jump into this new world where you'll have AI doing an increasing amount of the intellectual work in an enterprise. This feels like it's really the time for it. I think in 2026, 2027, we'll see a huge transformation of how enterprises think about this. Maybe the example we can look at from 2025 is what's happened with how code gets written.
Right, yes.
And now if you imagine that for every other function of the enterprise, that'll be quite a big deal. And thrilled to get to go do that together.
Yeah. I'm super excited. I mean, I think there's a lot of context in the data that enterprises have. It's very proprietary, right? So the consumer side initially, I presume, started with okay, we have all this data in the world that's public. Mankind has created it over thousands of years. What if the AI could really sort of compress that and understand that and reason on that? But then there's this data that's not available to the LLMs, which we now can bring together. So now providing the data that they have that's proprietary in the enterprise as context to the agents, which is really what they need. That, I think, is going to be the big unlock. So we're just excited to build that together.
Yeah, and on that point, both Sam and Ali, on sort of the model capability reaching a point where enterprises make a lot of sense. The other piece on top of that has been this sort of agents, kind of age of agents sort of arising. And I wanted to ask both of you a little bit more on the research side. Now with AI research moving from building great frontier models to now including, hey, you mentioned context management, right? You mentioned agents and multi-agentic patterns and systems. Where do you think the future innovations across these research buckets will really kind of drive this move into enterprise?
I mean, I think there will be all of these different research buckets, like we'll keep pushing on pre-training. We will, get these multi-agent systems that are doing complicated things. The models will get smarter across the board, but there are maybe kind of two axes that I would think about here. One is nothing at all to do with model intelligence, or very little. It's about how tightly can you integrate it into an enterprise, all of the knowledge they have, all of the different data sources, their business processes, the way that they want to work. Like, you could bring a very brilliant physicist and drop them into Databricks, and maybe they wouldn't that much done on the first day because they'd be missing all of that understanding. They wouldn't know how to, even if they had crazy intelligence. So
It can be a problem, yeah.
I'm sure. So I think there's this one layer that the whole ecosystem together, this will not just be either of our companies, but the whole world is going to have to build kind of an integration into these models and sort of with these models. And that is a lot of work to really figure out how you're going to, teach a model to be a sort of productive employee in a particular enterprise or whatever. And then the other category, we have seen a dramatic increase in how long of a horizon a model can work on a task for.
Yeah.
So the way that I think about this is, for a particular class of task, once you've given it that sort of connection to an enterprise, that kind of integration, how long of a task does the model have a 50% chance of success at? And we have gone from, if we think about, say, coding, we've gone from 5-second tasks at the launch of GPT 3.5 to 5-minute tasks with various GPT-4 iterations to 5-hour tasks with GPT-5. And that's remarkable. But a lot of what an enterprise does is tasks that require months or years sometimes. And also, we can only currently do this in this one vertical. So lengthening the horizon that these models can work on, giving them all of the context that exists inside an enterprise or the world, and then adding that to like many more verticals, I think will be the important thrust.
Yeah, I mean, I think that one is the 50th percentile task completion time horizon is super interesting. And I think if you bring more context, so the first thing you mentioned also, with more context, you can increase that horizon, like, lengthen that. So the tasks, something that would take a human a day to do, the agents can now do. Not that we have a day yet, but I'm just saying, if you add that context, you can get that longer and longer. And one of the things that we saw that's really cool is just optimizing the context automatically. Like, we developed a technique called JEPA, which is like basically inspired by genetic algorithms, but basically gets that enterprise context that you have and gets it into the model, but automatically, so that you don't have to have humans that are sitting there and optimizing the context, so that you can live feed the relevant context that's sitting in the different docs and inside of the enterprise. So I think that's a really good metric to look at and see how, and the progression of it has been like insane, as Sam said, like from like seconds now to like many hours. So very excited about that.
It always strikes me that the model capability today is the dumbest it will ever be for the rest of my lifetime, and that's like a incredible thought to have whenever you think about the potential applications of this thing. As we mentioned, sort of agents getting deeper enterprise, operating in hours and hours, and potentially even taking actions in the enterprise. What are the main things to think about in terms of ensuring kind of responsible AI and governance over the tools and the data and the actions?
Yeah, I mean, we've worked very closely on that, and we've made sure that we sort of build with privacy and security from the ground up. So the whole partnership and integration builds on having the guardrails in place, making sure that you have audit logging on everything that happens in the enterprise, so that you can track, like, what did it exactly do? So you can go back and track those things, having access control, making sure, I mean, simple things for enterprises that maybe, sometimes takes for granted, but, is it on brand?
Yeah.
What the model is saying? Is it recommending a competitor? Things like that. So you can build those guardrails in from the beginning into the models. And so if you use GPT-5 now inside Databricks, you get all of that out of the box. So we're very excited about that.
I think this is going to become the fundamental limiter for adoption of AI in the enterprise. It won't be about the intelligence. It won't be about the price. I believe the research teams and the sort of infrastructure teams will figure that out. But I think enterprises are starting to realize very quickly just how critical this is. And it will be the limiting reagent.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Maybe this is a question for Sam, but as we at Databricks can attest, the open way model, GPT-OSS, have been a game changer for a lot of our companies, both in terms of the capabilities and the use cases it can tackle, the customizability that an open-weight model, involved. And I think OpenAI just recently released the GPT OSS safeguards version as well. Curious, what's the future for open source and open weights from OpenAI?
There's clearly demand for it. There's honestly much less demand than there is for the most capable, models that we can run in a cloud. But I think the answer is we're, a big-ish company and we should do both. People want a model that they control and that they can run on their device or in their own system, and there needs to be some version of some way we support them.
Yeah.
So I am curious, like we're seeing huge demand on GPT OSS. Like people really want, especially like, an American open source model that like kind of is at the very frontier. What is OpenAI's plans going forward? Like is GPT OSS the last?
No, I hope not. We are trying to figure out how we can someday do a model that is like the quality of GPT-5 running on a one device open source model. We don't know how to do that yet, but we didn't think we were going to get a model as good as GPT OSS running in 120 billion parameters either. So again, I don't think this will be what most people want, but the people who want it really want it, and I think we'll try to find ways to offer incredible open source models.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. So you could run on your, if you could get that form factor down and run on your laptop.
And we think about what it's going to look like to make a sort of, a new computer for like the AI era. I think that there's a whole bunch of reasons why that form factor is not quite right.
Yeah.
But one part of this is it should run locally a great model if you wanted to. And
So if Wi-Fi is down, you still get AI.
If Wi-Fi is down, or you're just like, hey, from a privacy perspective, I believe that privacy and freedom will be two extremely important principles for how people use AI if it becomes as important in people's lives as we expect. And the current tech industry, public policy cluster, whatever, leaves some area for concern.